Hello again. I am Mustafa. I am one of the leaders of the AEM user group Southwest chapter. I am leading this group with Jake. Welcome, everyone. This is our kickoff meeting. So thank you for being with us today. Today we have an important topic from on-prem to cloud, making the AEM leap smooth and successful. And we have an important guest speaker, Sudhaker Adusumilly. He is Senior Director and Head of Growth Engineering at Splunk. So I will give word to Sudhaker later. He will give some introduction about himself and then the topic. Our agenda for today, yes, introductions from us. We have some announcements, housekeeping things, and our speaker with today's topic. And at the end of the event, we will have a QA session. Yes, I am Mustafa Hepekis. I am a senior software engineer at Cisco Systems. I work at Cisco for almost 4 years. And I am one of the co-leaders of the AEM user group Southwest chapter. I am working with AEM for almost 1.5 years. I am a part of Cisco.com team at Cisco. So this is another learning opportunity for me, other than all trainings, all other sessions, because I am sitting at the other side of the table to design and create these events with Jake. So this is another opportunity for me to learn more and meet with you all. So thank you for joining our session. And Jake.
Good morning, everyone. Like Mustafa said, my name is Jake Cotton. I work on the Cisco web team with Mustafa on focusing on demand, the customer experience, and our AI experiences. So it's nice to meet everyone. Really excited to kick off this group.
Great, thank you, Jake. We have some announcements and housekeeping things. I am leaving that part to you.
Great. Thanks, Mustafa. Okay, there's several upcoming sessions hosted by AEM user groups that may be of interest to people here. So on Wednesday, October 29th, the AEM India chapter will host Cloud Manager Unlocked, behind the scenes and game-changing features for AEM teams. The session will focus on ways to improve automation, deployment efficiency, and team collaboration within AEM environments. So for those who are interested, you can scan the QR code that you see here. We can go to the next. Adobe is also running a Build, Connect, Learn event series for Experience Manager and Adobe Commerce developers. And these sessions will focus on how Adobe is building the agentic web by combining AI, automation, and data to advance digital experience delivery. The main event runs November 10th through 11th in San Jose and virtually, and with additional gatherings in Sydney, Bangalore, and Basel on November 12th. And again, if interested, the QR code is here, or you can use the link also shown. And then finally, looking ahead, the next Adobe Summit, the conference will take place April 19th through the 22nd, both in Las Vegas and online. And currently, early registration's open. And if you register before October 31st, it looks like there's a $600 discount that you can take advantage of.
Yeah, thank you. And I noticed this user group meeting is being recorded. So if you don't wish to participate in a live recorded session, feel free to reach out to us. You can see my email address at the bottom, or you can reach out to advocacy@adobe.com about this. So yes, stay connected with us, because as I mentioned at the beginning, this is our kickoff meeting. We will organize different events in the future, in a few months. So stay connected with us, and you can get information, get updated about our future events. And also you can get in contact with the user group leaders and the members. You can connect with them. So navigate to AEM augs.adobe.com address and create your account if you don't do so far. Follow our events. We have many different chapters. So to attend any of the virtual events, you don't need to locate it on that particular location of the world. You can join any of those events, and you can follow them by the QR code that you see on the screen. And yes, our guest for today, Sudhaker, I am leaving the word to you at this moment, and go ahead and please introduce you to our attendees and then move forward. Thank you for joining us. Your support is priceless for us.
Thank you very much, Mustafa. That was a great introduction. This is such an exciting moment. Thank you all for being part of this journey. And it's a pleasure. I appreciate the opportunity, both Adobe and you as leaders of this forum, both Mustafa and Jake. Appreciate the opportunity. I am Sudhaker Adusumilly. I head the growth engineering for Splunk. That's responsible for end-to-end web and also provide engineering services, closely collaborating with other parts of marketing to bring the marketing tech stack, providing engineering services, enabling the tech stack for marketing attainment, whether it's operational efficiency, whether it's customer experience optimization. So I bring some of those engineering services to implement the tech stacks for marketing attainment. With that, next one, please. Awesome. All right, let's spend some time talking about how can we ensure on-prem to cloud is smooth and successful. This is based on our recent journey moving from on-prem to cloud at Splunk. Next slide. Today's agenda will give you the business case, why it is a strategic initiative for us. We'll go through the transformation journey from on-prem to cloud and the different phases we navigated through. We'll also share some key learnings as well as best practices. What does it mean from business outcomes for us? We'll share those as well. And the journey never ends, right? Whether it's transformation or cloud or any. So we'll talk about a little bit of what's ahead for us. And we will also share our approach on edge delivery services. I'm sure some of you reached out initially asking about, oh, are you going to cover edge delivery services? Yes, we are, but not to the greater extent. And we'll touch the surface. And we'll leave some time for Q&A. Next slide. Adobe Experience Manager is a critical tech stack and a backbone for Splunk marketing-owned web properties. It delivers a unified brand experience and also critical tech stack for us being supporting that web presence, driving leads, product trials, campaign, and ensure global reach. It also gives an agility for us to create and update content quickly, integrate seamlessly with the downstream, whether it's a marketing automation system or CRM system or you name it, so that we can continue to convert these visitors into interactions with measurable outcomes in mind. Next slide. Why cloud migration? When I look back, I think we were on a version AEM 6.4.8 and Adobe said we are end of life. So that's a critical business risk for any enterprise supporting a critical tech stack, and your vendor, the primary vendor says EOL, that's a critical business risk. And when I really look back, we are 6 versions behind. We are a couple versions behind on on-prem and a few versions behind on cloud. And what we have seen, Adobe focus is more towards cloud, less on on-prem, meaning the new features that they introduce, it's more on cloud, very less or none to certain extent on on-prem. So our desire of moving is not only essential but also strategic, because you will have the security and you have all those. What happens if something, things like if your repository got corrupt, or if you are to work with a support ticket that AEM is not coming back up, Adobe support will never consider. So it's not only an essential but strategic. Next slide. And from our priorities perspective, it's very clear from marketing and engineering perspective. Marketing perspective, how can we accelerate the delivery so that we can roll out these features faster, so that we can tighten the loop back feeds and build for the future, building on the cloud, moving on to edge delivery at speed and scale. And we also want to avoid these costly upgrades. We want to adopt new innovation as they are available, as they are released, and scale seamlessly to meet these business demands. We have some of the key events like Summit, like how Adobe have. We have couple events like .conf, and it's very important for us to scale during that time our infrastructure, and it's been manual. With cloud, that gives us opportunity to auto scale. So it's important to support those events. So the efficiency gains with all of this will help us to reinvest back in the business so we can deliver those meaningful business impact, whatever that next best thing is, so that we don't have to rinse and repeat of some of these activities. From an engineering perspective, we are focused on strengthening our CI/CD pipeline so that we can cut deployment times from multiple hours to minutes, and enhancing our security posture, ensuring seamless backend integration. For this is very critical for us because all our business functionality is on our own microservices built in Amazon EKS. It's important for Adobe Cloud to talk to our business critical, mission critical functionality. Next slide, please. And handing it off to you, Mustafa, per poll.
Okay. This is our first poll for this session. So, gauging your AEM journey, where does your organization stand today? Please share your responses in the chat, and we will take it from there to talk further. I want to give 30 seconds to you to get all your responses on the chat. Yes, time is up for the poll. We can move forward, Sudhaker.
Thank you, Mustafa. Wow, it's interesting to see most of you are already on cloud and some of you choose to see. So either you're on cloud or in the path of cloud. Let's see what you can walk away with this session. I'll do my best so that you walk away with something. Okay. So continuing, moving on to the next one. This is our AEM journey. We started on 2014 with AEM 6.0. We went through some upgrades between 15 to 17, and we have done another upgrade in 20 and 19. And along the way, we onboarded additional websites like blogs, .conf, communities, regional sites, translations, etc. One of the important milestone that we have done in 21 and 22 is we not only did the website redesign, but we also did AEM modernization. That includes getting all the latest and greatest of AEM with some house cleaning, which is getting our components from 200 to 50 components, ensure the latest features like core components, touch UI, and grid system, etc., getting implemented. And then in 2024, we started planning on upgrade cloud migration. We went live with cloud migration. Right now, we are prepping for EDS. Next slide. As I thought I would give you our tech stack, Adobe tech stack preview. So we are not only on AEM, we also do personalization with Target. We do all marketing, any project, any department, workflow automation through Workfront. We have Asset Cloud as a central repository that serves from asset creation to consumption. We have Marketo Engage to capture the leads, marketing automation platform. We have CDP to connect the data from all the sources to create those audience segments to tailor for any channel, whether it's web, email, digital, any paid channel, etc. And you see various years we went through our journey of implementation. Next slide. Let's look at our digital transformation with AEM Cloud. So I thought I would give you double click of our journey into three phases. One, what the preparation what did we end up executing, what did we end up post launch. So with the first one, preparation, I think couple things we have done preparation wise that helped us minimize the whole cloud migration to just 6 months time frame is we ensure the BPA, business practice analyzer, early in the game to assess where we are. For some of you who doesn't know BPA gives us how close you are in your code, your customizations, your backend integrations, your Java code, OSGI bundles to ensure how close you are from AEM cloud compatibility wise. So it will give you descriptions of what and why with the criticality. We ran that, so that gives us the number, the volume, the time, so that we can plan efficiently. We went ahead and audited all the customizations and all the integrations. We have things like custom CDN, translation provider, our video player, and backend integrations like Amazon AKS or observability platform, all that to ensure what we have on-prem will continue to work. We'll look at the compatibility matters. We also looked at the framework compliance. I think some of you might know Maven archetype is critical for cloud from deployment, code, your parallel development, all that perspective. So we, given at that point in time, we are still business as usual on-prem. So we moved to a common archetype that supports both on-prem and cloud. And as a housekeeping activity, we also went ahead and cleaned all our content that is, unused, and some pages that are sitting around that not only helps the volume that you have to migrate to AEM cloud pages, but also helps the overhead of managing them in the long term. So multiple benefits there. So these are the few preps. And the next slide. So this slide talks about our journey during the execution. So I touched on the BPA. So we went ahead and fixed all our findings from BPA, and we limited ourselves to just focus on critical and high, leaving medium and low to the later stage of migration. We ensure all our customizations and integrations continue to work. I think the one we suffered the most and took longer, both pain, time, and cycle wise, is our translation engine SmartLink. The second that it took little longer is the CDN setup. We have a custom CDN, which is Akamai. But the way we set up that is with Fastly pass-through. So you have Akamai and you have Fastly, which is by default AEM Cloud provides. but it's just a pass through. Even though, as you have heard me talking about, we went through the modernization, we still have left with very few that we have to modernize. So we went through that modernization. We ensured our CI/CD pipelines from Cloud Manager, not only from deployment perspective, anything we can do, functional automation, networking, and security layer. We looked at Cloud Manager. We ensured we set it up that correctly. All our other Adobe tech stack continue to work, whether it's Web SDK for CDP, whether it's Target, whether it's Marketo form submissions continue to work. And we also, one thing we learned is our team were smart and proactive. I think when you are on a critical path to deliver certain sprint commitments and now you are stuck because it is an Adobe product, you have to go through the support tickets, but support will take their own time for us to respond and come back with. So our team ran into those. I think few that I could think of is content migration and the instances. The cloud instance, you have limited control, but then you're stuck with that. So our team has made smart choices while we continue to wait, debug that issue, take an alternative approaches. So I think it's important to look at taking a step back and look at, is it worth waiting for that to resolve, or there are any alternate approaches? So it's important to plan those efficiently. I think team was successful. Those are the two instances, rather than waiting for Adobe support to involve their engineering and cycles that it takes, versus opposed to what can you do with what you have so that you can continue the next phase of your project. And upskilling, we went through upskilling as well, so that not only the core team that is part of AEM Cloud, but how can we bring the rest of the team along with these nuances of cloud, whether it's deployment, setting up RDE, etc. Next slide, please. And the post migration, like everything, there is always a technical debt that you end up piling up. So what we did was, post migration, we kept the few key individuals as is, meaning a shorter version of cloud team for another quarter to address a few important things, so that we don't keep that pile forever. So that we kept that small team, so that team continued to sprint on some of the cloud tech debt that piled up. That is specifically, few things on Cloud Manager and BPA. I talked about high and critical, but there were still some lingering medium and low that are tied to security posture. So we tried to knock those off. Of course, we went through prioritization. We improved our monitoring. Being at Splunk, Splunk provide observability. It's tough to use competitor products, whether it's infra monitoring, application monitoring, or user monitoring. So we end up brought our own APM and our own RUM to the mix. So we are now ability to monitor both application and user monitoring on Splunk observability. We went ahead and upgraded the framework, which is Maven archetype. We, along the way, as I was alluding, while our AEM on-prem, while our AEM cloud journey is continuing in terms of getting ready for launch, our on-prem has never stopped. They're continue to build. So there is some delta during the 6 months that we have to address some of these BPA related issues. So that end up becoming a few high and few critical. So we end up addressing those as well. We brought in our own Git rather than using Adobe own grid, but we did that after the fact. Next slide. Key learnings. This is more from a project perspective, business perspective, technical perspective, combining all. I think it's the cloud costs are definitely higher than on-prem. You can ask, Sudhakar, why? Cloud is not just a software. They also ensure the infrastructure, they also ensure continuity, they also ensure the nodes, deployments, everything is automated. That needs energy, that needs more resources and budget from Adobe perspective. So that's why cloud costs are definitely higher. So ensure you plan for that in your budget. Custom integrations. This could be different for every one of us, every one of your enterprise company, how you are using AEM at your company, what are all it's serving for, what is all it's integrated, and the customizations that you have. So you allocate enough time doing the right due diligence so that some of them doesn't caught you with surprises during your execution. And like I alluded, there are a few instances for sure you have to reach out to Adobe. Ensure you build a relationship not just with customer success manager, but also technical account manager. Technical account manager can make a huge difference when you are in need of those critical movements to help guide not only internally, but also your ally internally within Adobe to move things faster. So start building those relationships with the TAM, bring them into the mix so that they are with you along this journey, ready to help you when situation demands. Security coordination. For Splunk, security is big. So what we ensured is we lined up our Splunk global security and networking team to ensure we do right testing before we go live. And if there are any network issues, the resources are lined up so that it won't become bottlenecks and end up, making new dates for the go live. CDN setup. I highly recommend, and I'm sure the answer is similar if you go talk to Adobe and Adobe PS. If you have a simple website, it's okay for you to stick what CDN cloud provides. But if you want a comfort of, in our case, we have tracking security, bot monitoring, and tracking, and many other, not just beyond caching and compression. We have image manager, we have many others. So for us, custom CDN is important. So we end up looking at custom CDN, but we went through pass through. Pass through in the sense we don't have too many layers, just all the cache sitting at. So if issue comes, you don't have to go through multiple CDN. So that's why it's just a pass through with CDN. Validate repository early. Though Adobe PS over a time with their journey of migrating multiple clients to cloud, what we have seen is migration is not easy. What does that mean? What does that mean is the volumes that we have, whether it's site pages or assets on your digital dam, what we have noticed is migration is not easy. It takes cycles and time, and in that journey you might need to plan little longer cycles. So what we ensured is our repository is latest and greatest. You do the required checks to ensure on-prem repository is latest and greatest. There is no um, JCR nodes that are dead, or it requires some repair. So you can run some of those, ensure your repository is ready for migration. And I would go one step further. See if you can run some of these migration script early in advance to see what you run into. So in our case, we did run into issue. Unfortunately, we have to wait on engineering, but luckily we started little early in the game, so it did not impact us, but we spent a lot of cycles on migration. Next slide. Here are the 6 important steps that worked. Sudhaker, what do you mean by worked? Worked in the sense, we said we will deliver the cloud migration in 6 months. We ensure we keep those time commitments. We ensure all our web properties. So our web properties are splunk.com, blogs.com website, and a decent number of localized sites. So how can we ensure we migrate in time, within budget, and no unknowns, with your best of knowledge? So what end up working for us is we ensured we modernize the AEM well in advance. Sudhakar, what do you mean by modernization. Modernization is nothing but to ensure you're on latest and greatest of what AEM has to offer. I am the customer advocacy board member for Adobe on one of the Adobe products, and I go to almost every year at Summit. I continuously hear from many customers saying, we are still on those legacy JSPs, our code is still there. That's a lot for you when you want to make these big moves moving to AEM cloud. So ensure your components, templates, your backend um, code that are needed is latest and greatest, touch UI compatible. Ensure your core components, you're using core components, you're using editable templates, you're using grid system, etc. And go ahead and run that BPA as is an on-prem to ensure, what is the number of issues that you might potentially run into and what's the complexity from Adobe perspective, so that you don't have challenges when you're running your cloud manager script, so that you don't run into these blockers. Our experience shows having a dedicated team is important so that your focus is not diverted. And second, use lift and shift. Avoid taking on to um, any other enhancements, baking in another and functional changes and things like that. Ensure you do this lift and shift with some housekeeping things like page cleanup and optimize your workflows, etc. Clean content is another housekeeping thing you can do for sure. Consider enabling observability. I'm sure Adobe out of the box provides some, but not everything. So ensure your application monitoring, RUM monitoring, you ensure you have the right tooling, you have right dashboard setup, you have right alert setup, so that when there is an issue, so you have the right teams are notified, you can go back and look at where those issues are. Next slide. Not just talking. With AEM cloud implementation, this is what we are able to deliver to the business with our transformation journey. We reduce 75% of our infrastructure overhead. That means we no longer have to worry about managing that infrastructure with patches, adding required agents, working with security teams to ensure the infra is latest and greatest with Java operating system, etc. We were able to deliver twice faster to business so that we can um, we can deliver faster to business in terms of twice a month releases instead of once a month. Just so you know, our website is divided up into multiple scrum teams based on site sections. So at any point in time, multiple scrum teams, meaning parallel development, is continue to happen on our code base. And all those multiple teams sprinting at the same time, checking in, delivering while you do the QA in that time frame of 2 weeks is a lot. So we are able to accomplish that, not just parallel development, but also continuous integration delivery, including the quality checks automation. And we have reduced the DevOps dependency of release time from 4 hours to 30 minutes. We improved the security posture so that we don't have to worry about the risk. That's because of few things. Because cloud is always latest and greatest, so that you don't have to worry about, a few years back, I saw, there is this, you're behind Java version, there are these many vulnerabilities, and you're behind this operating system version, or you're behind this AEM version. So we went cycles and cycles working with SecOps, NetOps, and few other teams. So you no longer have to worry about OS is latest, AEM is latest, cloud, all the features are latest. So that with all these gains, whether with the reduced overhead, faster to business, less cycles on some of these churn of security, we are investing this time back into business, doing meaningful for the business. Next slide. What's next in our journey? We are considering edge delivery services right now for blogs. Now, I think what we have seen is day by day, our budgets are slashing down. So you are asked to do more with less. Business want to deliver not one feature, they want to deliver two or three features in the time frame that they asked you to deliver. How can I do all that? Where can I do? And there are technology shifts that are happening more, going into Gen AI and agentic AI. So how do I ensure my website is not only human compatible but also machine compatible? And I can only do so much being an engineering leader, which is where my turn comes into what can I do with the technology. That solves for me edge delivery services. So edge delivery services helps me unlock the technical elements that matter for business, not only focusing on SEO but also AEO and GEO. Again, technical elements. Making a website GEO AEO compatible goes beyond technical elements, things like the content, your sitemap and many. But technically I can do couple things, which is ensuring the technical elements matter for SEO and GEO, which is page load times and faster page load times and decent core web vital scores. EDS can provide that for me. Unleash the speed. Unlike traditional and monolithic AEM deployment cycles, meaning you got to check in the code, you got to go through the build, you got to go through the cloud manager, you got to test it. It has certain cycles built in from release standpoint. You don't have to do all of that with EDS. And your development cycles, building the back end and front end AEM is no longer needed. Your templates and components is no longer needed. You can just do a HTML block with some CSS. That's it. That's your component right there. I'm cutting down. And once you check in your code in GitHub, that's it. It's ready to deploy. So you are cutting down the traditional and monolithic deployment, release, and development cycles. So you're delivering 3x faster. And you can improve your authoring in many ways depending on which authoring platform you choose. There are a couple authoring options that Adobe provides, which is da.live, universal editor, which is enhanced version of editor on AEM. Or you can choose to go with your SharePoint, you can go with Doc, you can go, Google Doc or Word Doc. With that, next slide.
Yes, I am here again with another 30 seconds. We have another poll and waiting for your responses on the chat. Do page load times and core web betas impact marketing metrics like conversation or lead generation? Yes, we have another 30 seconds. We are waiting your responses on the chat. Yes, time is up. And go ahead, Sudhaker.
Wow, I think this is my first time everybody said yes, so that's important. So Adobe did a survey a while back that shared with me, and I thought I would add to this presentation. Milliseconds does matter. Why does it matter? It means huge for business in terms of conversion rates, your engagement, bounce rates, your average conversion rates, and also how much cross sell and upsell. It does matter. So you will see some of those results here. I don't think I have the link, but I can send you offline with some of you. I can give it to Mustafa. Mustafa can share so you can read through in detail. Next slide. Our path and approach to EDS is we are taking a step back and rethinking how do we evaluate EDS. So we would like to follow what Adobe pursued, which is adobe.com. They went through blogs. So our approach right now is we wanted to test EDS with the DA.live on blogs. We wanted to assess after 6 months with a success criteria defined. And the criteria is in terms of authoring and engineering efficiency. Can this scale to rest of the website of Splunk.com, not just blogs? With all the customization integrations we have, can it scale? Because ADS is still new, not everything is customizable and readily available. Sometimes you may have to take a hit and end up doing for the first time. So unfortunately, you will be the guinea pig at that point. So we have to evaluate what that looks like. And we also need to look at from quality perspective. First time right, are we getting better, are we getting worse? With this new development pattern of blogs, not legacy. So we have so that's our approach. We want to start small, we want to do analyze based on certain criteria that we defined, and we wanted to see if that can be a great fit. We have heard wonderful stories where UPS and Olvo and few others, they have fully migrated all of their website to EDS using Universal Editor, but we might be different in our journey. So we are going through that journey as we speak. With that, I will hand it to you, Mustafa.
Yeah. Yes, we are at the questions and answers part. You can leave your questions to chat again, and we can get answers from our guest speaker. I have one question. Let me leave it to chat.
Ask us anything, whatever comes to your mind, whether it's AEM or beyond. How long BPA take? Running the BPA is not hard, Mustafa. I think we went through a initial challenge of setting up the BPA to ensure we are readily available to run that script. I think that took us few days, and afterwards I think the challenge was every time we need to run, we'll learn certain new things, meaning our count goes up and our um, in terms of critical and high medium continue to change. We learn some nuances because we continue to sprint our on-prem. So that was our challenge. But overall time, I think for BPA, I believe it took a few months, probably decent 2 to 4 months, I believe. But this could be different for everybody depending on what their journey, what their status, whether their code is modernized versus not.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
That's a great question. Why did you choose DA? I think couple that why did you choose DA.live for EDS? So we went through a lot of internal opinion on it, and then it's a mixed DA.live versus UE. I think what led us to go to DA is the Adobe's response saying a lot of investment going into DA.live, and we wanted to test something. And it's okay if we fail. I think what we said is, okay, we know AEM, we know we can do this in Universal Editor, but what if we try this DA.live? It's okay for us to fail, but 6 months, 1 year from now, if you don't try and you realize you're missing something, that might be a big. I might rather try small rather than failing big. So that's our focus. And second thing, what we are ensuring is if the code is compatible with the DA.live, making it compatible to UE is not a huge lift. So even though if tomorrow we want to get the DA.live wrapped up and move to Universal Editor, our transition should be seamless or negligible. So that's the reason. Hope that answers your question. What cost added up when you move to cloud? Does the cost of the cloud based on the server request and response? Also, do you use blue green deployment in cloud manager? I believe we use blue and green. I think I have another colleague of mine joined here, Taya. Taya, if you can respond to that question, that would be great if you're open, and if you're still on the call. Second, what added up when you move to the cloud? I think licensing is the primary from cost perspective. The second cost is to ensure we are fully ready on the cloud project. Those 6 months, we end up using Adobe professional services. So the cost for professional services and the few resources that we have on ours, I think those are the cost. I'm not sure that was your question, but hope that answers your question.
And follow up on that. So normally when you have it in AMS or on-prem, on-prem is different, but when we are in AMS, we know that one author and three publishers are there, so we know the exact number of servers. But in cloud, the servers will vary. Just what that's what if I want to move from AMS to cloud, I want to understand what does that mean, because there won't be any constant infrastructure. That infrastructure might change anytime on the cloud. So
Yeah.
I want to know what cost will be different there.
Yeah. So the way that we have noticed is Adobe looks at your volumes, and meaning your page requests, and
Yeah.
your site is it dynamic, how important that is for application, how your engagement is. They look at all that and they size it appropriately and give you. However, Adobe does not charge you based on number of instances. That's why the auto scaling, one of the important things that Adobe told us, is it's auto scaling. Auto scaling is you don't have to worry whether you need 2 authors or 5 publishers, or whether you need 8 publishers. So it's auto scaling. However, being our first time, what we have done when we moved to cloud, when we had our critical event.conf, we proactively reached out and told, hey, why don't you 3x our servers during this next 2 weeks? We did that proactively, but you don't have to worry that it automatically takes care of it. Long story in short, I don't think you have to worry. Based on your volumes, they will give you the price, and that price is included with auto scaling.
Yeah, thank you.
Strategy question: how does your cloud align with company strategy? Doing that helped in busy for the cloud migration? No, that's a great question. So I think I'll go back and share some. So our org priority is deliver faster and move to bi-weekly releases rather than monthly releases. And second is move to cloud so that all the latest and greatest innovation, because we are rinse and repeat with on-prem, addressing those infrastructure, handling those, managing OS, Java, and many other, and security. So our one of the OKRs we did as a big rocks is move to cloud and move to 2 week sprints. So it aligns perfectly so that we can deliver faster to business from a tech stack wise, and also we can ensure we are ready for business to tap into future needs like supporting AEO, SEO, GEO in addition to SEO. So those are the few strategy related. Of course, there are other bigger things when it comes to, but end of the day, your customer experience is improved. You are continue to reduce your bounce rate, improve your visitor, improve your engagement, ability to personalize, and all of those does matter from a strategy perspective. Another question: can you give insights on challenges you faced for buy-in for cloud migration from on-prem? Can someone unmute and add more color to that question?
Hi, Sudhaker. Yeah, this is Kalyan speaking. So the question is, when you move from on-prem to cloud, right? There'll be a lot of capex to opex expenses. So how did you face any challenges to get a buy-in for this kind of a upgrade? Is it like smooth for you? This asking at a leadership kind of a question, basically, where how did you get a buy-in from your leadership? Did you face any challenges? Like what kind of a questions you were asked, and those kind of things, basically.
Yeah, definitely a great question. I get asked similar questions because Splunk is now a Cisco company. I get to ask the similar questions by Cisconians, not just this. So I think it's always important for any project when you consider what is the business value, what is the ROI look like, what is the operational efficiency looks like. So you should be able to define, meaning connect this to the business outcomes with the right ROI. In my case, I think a few things I would say. This, I have shown considerable savings on getting rid of on-prem, whether those are realized and unrealized gains. Second, we have told reduced, we can cut down this much of infrastructure, we can improve the security posture, we can deliver faster with the parallel development. I was able to quantify the number with a ROI, little hesitant to share the exact numbers and exact reasonings from a business perspective. Keep that abstraction layer in mind. I think quantifying the ROI, what business needs, with ensuring the what ahead of the game, I mean, keeping the technology trends in mind, what business will foresee, how you untangle connecting the dots will sharpen your story, strengthen your story, so that your likelihood of getting that project and budget approved.
We have one last question and only 4 minutes.
Oh, Sudhaker, I can take this one if you want.
Go ahead, Taya.
Yeah, in terms of upgrade, the stage and the production instance automatically gets upgraded. We only have option to delay the upgrade on the lower environments, the non-production environments, so we can control that. But our org, we try to stay up to date with the latest Maven archetype, so the upgrades are smoother and much easier to accommodate in our code base.
Thank you, Taya. So the question is, yeah, more of in general updates. Like if you see the Cloud Manager, this month it has certain number of features. Then next month they release new set of features. Not only the AEM version upgrade, but if you see the functionality as a whole, we keep getting updates from Adobe every single month. So we should be on top of it, or like to use them, right? We know that they are releasing release notes. But is there any specific strategy that can be followed within the team so that we can be on top of it?
I try to get my team to review it so that we can leverage some of the new features they're releasing, so that we can give the benefit to our end user, who's our authoring team, so that they can benefit from it. So it's more of educational. Like we try to educate them, and also anything that we can, in terms of coding, anything we can leverage, we try to use it much as we can.
Yeah, just to build on that, I don't think we have run any of those cloud update issues with our code base. That is seamless for us. And the second thing, I think we ran into just one instance where something disrupted, we end up going fixing. But I think it definitely felt like seamless. I don't think we're too far in that journey in terms of gauging whether that is impacting or not. We did not came across, so we did not pursue in terms of what that process looks like in the future. But I don't think we have encountered any issue, meaning any cloud updates, is our code impacted, our website functionality, or any of our customization impacted. None of that so far, thankfully. We have live almost, I believe, more than 6 months now, but we have not had any issues.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining our very first kickoff meeting. And thank you, Sudhaker, for joining us, sharing your experience and knowledge. Stay in touch with us on our webpage. You can see the URL on the screen. And hope to see you all in our next event. Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone.